Good day, welcome to subramani.com. Today I'm going to talk to you a little about making a will. I'm not talking about the procedure of making a will. I'm saying what you need to be careful about while making a will. And this is what I do when I talk to IFAs, saying why IFAs are better equipped than lawyers about the detailing of the will. Let me give you some examples which I have seen. There was this man who has, I should say, a very successful son and a not very successful daughter. Daughter married a bum and, well, they're not well off, so not getting into the details. Son is extremely successful, he's a surgeon, has a very good income, doing very well. And one day the old man tells me, I'm about to make my will and I'm leaving about 3-4 crores in equity shares to my daughter, and of course this house in Bombay also to my daughter, because my son doesn't need the money. Sounds good? To most people this will sound good. Fair enough that one kid is doing well, so, and I went and met him and I asked the son also to come, and I said I would do it exactly the reverse. I would leave everything to my son and nothing to my daughter. And he looked a little perplexed, and I said, if you didn't explain what you're doing, your son will get very angry saying, my father didn't love me, so he left everything to my sister. And second, your daughter has not shown any signs of proper financial management. Give her 100 rupees and she could spend 105. I mean, it is like an obsessive spender she was. So I said, it will not take her much time to ruin this lovely portfolio and this house. Her husband is capable of doing some new business and losing money there. So I said, instead you give everything to your son, give her some token, and make sure that the son manages the money for the daughter, because this money has to last for the rest of her life, and right now she was only about 37, 38. So there is no way how you can come with simple solutions while making a will. I'll give you another example of a person who had a nice house in suburban Mumbai, and he wanted his daughter to look after him. Good idea, but the daughter insisted that the house be made joint with her for her to even move in. Son was in US and son said, I think that's okay, just go ahead and do it. So the father did it. Father didn't want to do it that way, but father did it under pressure that otherwise the daughter will not look after him. And the daughter had already become a widow, and the daughter found it easy to look after the father in staying in the father's house. That was fine. Nice house worth maybe 5 crores today, and we are talking about this about 8-9 years ago. The daughter forgot to tell her father that she had signed a bank guarantee for her son who was making some film, and that project had failed. So the bank came to possess this flat because she was half owner. Fair enough, that's the bank's job, right? The son had to fly in from US, pay off the bank, loan was much smaller, it was about 30-40 lakhs, and make sure that the house remains untouched and with the father at least till the rest of his life, right? So when you have kids who are not very smart in managing money, this is not something which you should give away very easily, and definitely not in your lifetime. Joint titling with kids is not a great idea unless you are 80 plus and your kid is 60 plus and you're more or less sure that he'll not do or she will not do anything foolish in their personal financial lives. There are so many examples to give that there was this father who was giving away about 25 crores. He had made a will for about, he was making a will for about 25 crores to his only son, who was extremely smart and extremely capable, who didn't bother much about this money. So when the father said, I'm making a will, look, this guy is going to get everything, I said, hold on, don't make it in his name. So the father was really surprised because he's the only son. And he's about 27, 28 years of age. Father is about 52, 53. So I said, don't make a will favoring your son because you're giving up a big amount of money. And if he were to marry a shrew, she could take away everything after a couple of years. We don't normally sign a prenup agreement. A prenup agreement may not be valid in India. We still don't know. It's not tested in the courts. So I said, in your son's case, you please make it into a trust and make sure that he gets money from the trust, so that this money should be beyond the reach of your shrew daughter-in-law, potential daughter-in-law. Right now there was no such thing. And the son started realizing that I was not joking and it was a serious matter. Right. IFAs need to understand all this, and there will be a lot more complications. So I am sorry, but I have to dip into my notes to remember what all that I need to cover. So I will use my notes today. Another problem that I have seen, and I hope I don't see it again, is many parents like to make a settlement and or gift to the child. Now that under normal circumstances doesn't look too bad, because then you don't have a probate issue or the society saying we will not transfer, none of those issues. But in such cases you have to make sure that the kid also makes a will favoring the parent, because if you have made the settlement, given the gift deed, transfer the asset, and the child dies before you and the child dies intestate, you will not get back your estate, right? So be careful about that. Another case I know is a daughter who looked after the father and the mother for about 20 years of their life. Absolutely amazing sacrifice, or whatever you call it, and the daughter really loved it, which meant her children spent a lot of time with the grandparents. Grandparents had a nice, beautiful house in suburban Mumbai with a huge swing. So these kids would also look after the grandparents. Grandparents lived into their 80s. And so they had a great time with the grandparents. So whereas the son was in the US and would come once in a while, and he would stay in a hotel, and parents would be hurt, and not a great relationship. But typical Indian family, the father wanted to leave everything to the son and daughter equally, saying, well, if I don't do it that way, my son will feel bad. Perfectly right, no, nothing wrong. But the daughter was hugely attached to this big house, and she couldn't afford that house on her own. She had a smaller house about 5 kilometers away from here. So she always wanted this house. She was not keen on selling this house. She wanted this house for nostalgia. She had grown up there. She still had a room to herself. She still had her teddy bear. She was getting into her 60s. She still had her teddy bear bought when she was 6 years old and kept in that house. And her room was there. She didn't want to sell, and the son would have wanted to sell because he wanted the money. So my advice to the father was, I said, give all other assets to your son, which was not so substantial, and this house to your daughter. And then the father understood that yes, my daughter she was attached to everything in the house, right from the window to the swing and the chairs and everything. So then it didn't make sense to give everything equally, especially to a guy who was in US, was not really interested in the money. But if you give somebody 5 crore property, he would be interested in the 2.5 crores, but it didn't really matter. So we settled this way. He got about 1 crore plus in equity and other portfolios, but the house went to the daughter. To me, it looked fair because she had spent a lot of time with the parents and she was attached to The whole family was attached, so it didn't make sense to give everything equally. So giving everything equally makes sense, but see how each kid is going to react to it. So if you have some asset which is very valuable and you know one kid is obsessed about it, give it to that kid, explain it to the others. It's okay if the amount is higher or lower. The easiest thing to split is cash. So anything that you have in cash or mutual funds, bank deposits is easy to split. Anything else becomes difficult to split, right, from jewelry and everything. So be careful when you're splitting. There is nothing called equal, and it need not be equal. Very important to note that whatever you are planning to do, whether you want to give it to children equally, whether you want to give it to them in a different ratio, whether you think that one kid is doing very well, so need not get anything, it doesn't matter. Sit with them, talk to them. It is your asset. It doesn't matter. However, get a message that oh, my father loved this kid more, or loved my brother more, loved my sister more. Not true, but then they get that feeling. So I feel that an IFA has to sit and chalk out all those things. Are you supporting some aunt? Are you supporting some school teacher? And if you're young, you're only 35 and you're making a will, great, more power to you. But it will have to be provision made for giving money to your parents, maybe to a sibling who is not well off. Whatever you think of, do all that while making a will. And what about people who are divorced and married again? It's a little complicated, because you don't want the children of the first marriage to go to the second wife for getting any payment, nor do you want the second wife to go to the children of the first wife for any payment, right? So be very clear, be very careful in drafting. Get a good lawyer to draft it, but get an IFA to explain every implication, which means the IFA should learn on what all his role is and then implement it. Thank you.